make sure the number's right. The city, along with everybody else, is projected to lose money, and Chelsea wrote down $10.2 million in revenue by 2010 to the property tax circuit breaker. How are you going to replace the money that, no matter what the total is, that's going to be taken because of that circuit breaker law? What areas do you specifically cut? And I believe we start here with Steve.
Current estimates are that the circuit breaker that takes effect in 2010, which is a 3% cap for business property, will cost the city of South Bend somewhere between $6 and $7 million a year. St. Joe County will see a similar loss. Mishawaka will also lose revenue at that time. One of the options that is before us, the state has given us the opportunity for local option income taxes. I mentioned that before. We still have 0.2% available on local option income taxes that would generate roughly $3.5 million a year. I believe it's important for us to have community discussion about that as we look toward 2010, because our property taxes pay for very important services. They pay for police and fire, for our parks and code enforcement, and we don't want to strangle those. I mentioned before Elkhart having adopted earlier, their income taxes are 54% higher than St. Joe County income taxes. So I think that it's time to have discussion about that additional 0.2%. Then again, through efficiencies in delivery of services, as well as through growth of the tax base, which we in fact have seen over the years, despite Juan's figures, and he has had trouble with numbers in the past. Growth of the tax base will also help us then to meet that loss of revenue.
All right. Again, the circuit breaker law, let's admit it. It's not like you all voted for it or supported it. You're stuck with it. So, cutting city services if need be. What do you do, Tom?
Okay. Well, let's remind ourselves why we're in the predicament we're in. First of all, for the last 30 years, maybe slightly longer, the middle class in the United States is being hollowed out. There's been an enormous transfer of wealth, although those of us in here may not see it, from the middle class to those who are much wealthier than us. It's mostly by federal law, which means there's not a great deal we can do about it except vote. Also, I'm going to mention a few other causes: Studebaker, White Farm, Oliver, South Bend, Lake, Torrington, TRW, Mendix, Ball, Banyan, Royal, and General. We put all of our eggs in the military basket, the agricultural basket. We need a more diverse economic mix here so it's sustainable. And again, I would caution us, if we were trying to make up for the shortfalls in property tax, to really consider what effect these option income taxes are going to have on those least able to pay. Now, the middle class is being hollowed out in St. Joseph County. That means that a lot of us will be carrying a bigger burden of tax because we're making less income. So let's keep that in mind. Think about how that's going to affect your parents. Think about how that's going to affect you when you get old enough to retire. And if we tax, think about what's going to happen to your children and grandchildren.
All right, on that issue.
Every person in this room knows what it means to live within your budget. And if you make less money, you have to make adjustments. As mayor of South Bend, I'm going to freeze our budget, and we're going to learn to live within our means before I seek any tax increase. That's the first step. The second step is grow our tax base. I'm going to grow this tax base in 4 areas: healthcare, technology, research, and manufacturing. And just to give you one example of healthcare, we will have a 4-year medical school, the Indiana University School of Medicine at Notre Dame. We will have Memorial Hospital. We'll have the remnants of St. Joe Regional Medical Center. We'll have the South Bend Clinic and the South Bend Medical Foundation. Together, those 5 facilities give us a foundation in healthcare, both for research-type jobs as well as for healthcare-related jobs. Also, in South Bend, Indiana, we built parts for the Mars rover. We have 2 rovers up on Mars. Parts are built right here in South Bend. We have parts on the Airbus 380, built right here in South Bend. We have parts on the Boeing 787 Dreamliner, parts built right here in South Bend. We need to grow our manufacturing base. We need to make sure that the jobs are good jobs, $15 an hour or higher. We need to make sure that all our citizens have access to these opportunities. Thank you much.
Thank you.